Hey, and welcome to another IC82 video. This is an IC82 video with a difference. I've had to set the camcorder up way over there because there's just so much to get in shot, as you can see. My phone is literally, it's just buzzing with activity. The poor battery in this phone, I so need a new phone. This phone barely lasts a day now, it never stops. Twitter is going crazy because yesterday I did a video on this beautiful Bachmann Class 40 here with a rake of Mark 1 coaches, and we had put a lighting strip into one of the coaches, and it would have looked even better had all the lights had been on the loco as well, just lit, static, but that wasn't possible because the chip was playing up and it wouldn't respond. So naturally I took to Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, and an absolute barrage of comments came in from people experiencing similar problems. Lots and lots of people having similar problems. But a third of the people, well, a quarter to a third of the people, were blaming the Hornby Select controller. They were saying that this controller isn't compatible with a particular type of Bachmann decoder. Well, that's not good enough. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that is totally unacceptable. DCC is a standard. It is a worldwide standard, so that basically any chip will work with any controller. If we have stumbled across a situation where a chip won't work with a controller, then before you know it, the whole system will start falling down. It will start collapsing. What next? The lights in a certain loco won't work with a certain make of controller. That's no good. That's no good at all. DCC, when it was all compiled and everything was agreed, it was a set of standards. If we have discovered that companies are shifting away from those standards, then we need to stamp that out. We need to speak up loud and get that nailed in the head, because that is totally unacceptable. I rang Richard at Trident Trains, where I buy my decoders from usually, and he listened to the entire situation. He listened to the problem. I told him about people doing other videos on it. I told him about all the comments and tweets I've received, and he said, well, they could be right, but they could also be wrong. It could literally be that the chip was just faulty, and that's all it is. So he recommended that I carry out an investigation, and here I am to carry out that investigation. I do apologise for the sound of the rain. I'm sure you can probably hear the rain now. It's one of those typical British weather days where it's gorgeously sunny one minute and then absolutely chucking it down the next. Added to that, it's a Saturday afternoon, so there's kids playing outside, there's jet planes flying over. I'm just going to press on. We have a Bachmann 21-pin DCC decoder from about a year ago, which is also quite interesting because it's about £15, and then it's gone up by £2.50 in just a year, so that's quite interesting. This is the Bachmann decoder that was bought not so long ago. It was bought at the same time as this 21-pin new and improved Bachmann Class 40 just here. We also have a Hornby Select. This is the first Hornby DCC Select I got hold of. It came with my Virgin Pendolino set, and it is basically the first DCC controller I ever got. This is the second DCC controller I ever got. It's also a Hornby Select. I didn't want it, it just came in a training pack that I bought. I think it was the mixed freight, the Hornby mixed freight, where it has like a Class 08 and like a little selection of wagons. And was it a Ginty? I think it was a Ginty, but it was later replaced with a J90 or a J72 or something. Not too sure. So I've got two of those. We have this as well, the Bachmann Easy Command. This is also a DCC controller by Bachmann. This is kind of like Bachmann's version of the Hornby Select. Some people say that it's better, some people say it's worse. It can't control as many trains as the Hornby Select can, because the Hornby Select has a digital display just there, an LCD display. The Bachmann Select doesn't. It only has 10 buttons, and that's it. As far as I know, there's no other way to control more than that. But it is really nicely built. It's very, very high quality. The rotary controller there, the knob is nice and good and solid, and I really do like it. We use it here at this address for testing. We use it in crew works. It's basically used whenever a locomotive's having work done. We also have the E-Link system here by Hornby. This was recently looked at in the is it Western Master? I think it's the Western Master set. This E-Link thing is relatively new, and opinions on it are very mixed. They're very split down the middle, aren't they? There's some people that say it's just not good enough, it's not up to the job, but then there's other people that say it's brilliant. It's a great way to get into DCC. You can connect it to your computer, put the whole layout in. It's just fab. So we'll just have to see how good it is. And of course that needs a computer, so I brought my my Sony Veil Ultrabook down here, which runs the Railmaster software. So I've got basically everything I can get together that's DCC in order to investigate what is going on. The locos of choice are a Bachmann Class 40, and then this is also 21 pin. This is the Class 66 by Bachmann, and that's also 21 pin DCC ready. So at the moment both of these locomotives are DC, they both have blanking plates in them, but we have 2 chips, 4 controllers, a computer, plenty of adapters, and I even have a control, get it? Because we are doing the scientific method here, so I even have the control method here. This is the DC controller by Hornby. It's a very, very basic one. That'll be just to test that the track's okay, to test the wiring's okay, and that there's no other problem. Some of you may question, where's the lens controller? Where's the Gauge Master controller? And the short and simple answer to that is I don't have those yet. The reason I don't have those yet is because I'm not quite ready for them, personally. It's a lot of money to invest in a controller like that. I mean, the lens one is over £400, and the Gauge Master one I'm looking at is between £300 and £400. If my worry is, if I buy one of those controllers now, then by the time my apologies for the jet going over, by the time my actual proper layout is done and ready, that controller will be obsolete. It'll be out of date. There'll be something better, and I'll be really, really gutted. So basically I'm trying to put off buying my dream controller for as long as possible. Some of you may completely disagree with that, but when you're looking at £300 to £400, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that I can spend on locos to do reviews on. It's a lot of money that can go to the N Gague Project or one of my future projects. Don't forget, we've got a new project coming up as soon as the N Gague is over. And there's the APT project, there's the Class 37 project, the Class 58 Sound project. There's loads. They all need funding. And at the moment, I'm funding them off my own back. The channel does generate revenue, and it's practically all ploughed back into buying this kind of stuff to keep you entertained and to keep you informed. So it is really important that you keep the channel supported like that. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. But it's a lot of money. £400 for a DCC controller that could be obsolete in a year's time is a big mistake. It would really, really grind me down. I don't want to do it just yet. So basically I've been making do with these controllers, and they do an okay job. They do a perfectly okay job, but I definitely wouldn't recommend them for the professional. They are basic controllers, and the one I'm looking at, I can't think what it's called, but it's a handheld unit by Gauge Master, and it's got like a nice rotary controller at the bottom. It's got a backlit display at the top, loads of buttons. You'll probably comment below exactly what it is, but that's the controller I'm looking at. I just can't get it yet. I need to wait a bit longer. So, what is the issue then? What's the problem? Well, we bought this chip the other day. We put it into this Bachmann Class 40, and it didn't work. This chip was then put into the Midland Compound, an absolutely gorgeous steam locomotive. I'll just go get it. Hang on. Here it is. This is the Midland Compound. Absolutely exquisite. I'm sure you'll agree. And it's 21 pin. There you go. 21 pin DCC. The chip was put into that last night, and the loco just went crazy. It didn't respond at all. However, we didn't try the Bachmann controller. Sorry, the rain's getting really noisy. We didn't try the Bachmann controller, so I need to try the Bachmann controller. I also need to try the chip in another locomotive, just in case it is these two locomotives. It's very unlikely, but I need to try it. That is the scientific method. So, before the rain gets too loud that you can't hear me, I'm going to stop the video, get some things wired up, and conduct some tests. Okay, so thank you for joining me. I'm going to conduct the first experiment, which is basically the control group. It's the control experiment. The Batman Class 40 at the moment is in DC mode, so there's a blanking plate in there, there's no actual chip. Sorry if you're not getting a very good view at the moment. It's really hard to fit all the wheels on the track, you know. This locomotive has so many wheels. Oh gosh, right, they're all on. So let's just check that she runs okay and that she's perfectly happy in DC mode. We've got power going to the track, direction has been picked. Well, I hope you can agree that that's absolutely perfect. The lights are coming on and she runs like a dream. Nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong there at all. So now we need to get the locomotive open, put the chip in, and then wire up a DCC controller and see what happens. Okay, we're back. There's the locomotive. I've already put it on the track because I say it takes a long time to put it on the track. There's just 18 billion wheels. You can see that I've not bothered to put the body back on. It's just the chassis. There's no need. We're going to be so busy hot swapping chips and controllers that we just really need we could do without it, basically. So I've kept the body off. But there is the chip, just on the top. That's the 21-pin chip that was bought a few weeks ago at the same time as the Class 40. For the people in the know, it has the code 36557, I think. The box is actually upstairs. But I have another box down here which is 36554. There we go. And people have been saying that one chip's compatible, one chip isn't. But that still doesn't fill me with confidence because this is the chip that was extracted from the Class G2A and we had problems with that. I've also just been reading some tweets and people have been saying that it's the Hornby Select that is the problem. But to be honest, my head's just totally brainwashed and full of people saying this and that and this and this. I'm putting all my faith in the scientific method. We will experiment and we will find out what is going on. It is a shame if it is the Hornby controller that's at fault. It will be a shame because it's otherwise a pretty good controller, but we need to get to the bottom of it, don't we? We need to find out. So I have two controllers. This is controller A. This is the one that came in the Virgin Pendolino set. And as I say, it's usually pretty good. I've usually had no problems with it. So let's plug this in and see what happens. Okay, so that into there, and then the power into the back of this. I'm just so OCD, aren't I? I'm obsessed with just coiling and tying everything up. White is not right, so white one goes into the one on our right, because from that direction is actually the left. Okay, so give it power. Nah, look. Yeah, look at that. You see it moving ever so slightly? I haven't even done anything yet. Let me try and program it. Let's try and give it the number. Let's try and give it the number 32. Whoa. No. That's not right. So either there's a problem with the chip, or there's a problem with the controller, or it's something else. But that's not getting us anywhere. So, let me kill that then. And disconnect the DCC Select, the number A, well, the letter A, my first DCC Select. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that completely. Let's bring in the Bachmann controller. It's going to be a pretty sorry state of affairs if a Bachmann controller doesn't work with a Bachmann chip. So let's try this and see what happens. I don't know if I did mention it earlier, but this came with my Class 25 train set. The Bachmann Class 25, I had problems with that. If you'll remember, I had to actually drive all the way back to Liverpool to Hatton's to swap it over, because I think it was either the controller that was faulty, the adapter that was faulty, or the actual class 25 was faulty. I can't remember, but oh, that was a nightmare. I don't have much luck with DCC stuff, do I? So just stick with good old-fashioned analog. Right, no, there's no need to power it on just yet. Cables. Of course, yes, I'm going to have to go and get the little digital cable that goes into there. I'll be back in one moment. Okay, we're back. Excuse me. It's been about half an hour. It's been an absolute nightmare. Basically, because the Hornby DCC Select can go up to something like 60 locomotives, but the Batman one can only go up to 10, I had to go and make sure that that locomotive hadn't been programmed to something like number 17 or number 28 that the Batman controller totally couldn't get hold of, couldn't control. So I had to deal with that first. Plus we also had to check that the connections were okay, because Batman gave you this like sort of they give you this red cable that's, well, to be used with their easy command, and what happens is if I just pan the camera around, you can see that it goes over to like an almost like a Hornby type of connector that goes into the track there, slides into the rails, slides underneath the rails, and it had to go over there because this is Hornby track and it has holes in, perfect for that kind of thing. The Pico track over there doesn't, because it's Pico track, so it doesn't have holes in it at all. I couldn't find any. Oh, it was such a nightmare. And it was crucial that I kept everything in this corner so that I could show you. And it's raining again, and it's so hard to talk over the rain. I just want to cry. I have given up my day off today to deal with this because it's such an issue, and I'm really regretting it. But anyway, that is the 36557 chip in the locomotive. I think, let me just go check. Yes, there we go, 557. So this is the 557 chip, and the chip I bought ages ago is the 554. Now, people on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube have been telling me that the 554 is compatible with the Select, but the 557 isn't. People have been saying that the Hornby Select isn't NMRA compatible, which is a shame, and that could be the cause of the problem. We've confirmed that that is actually the case. That is the truth. Rain, don't you dare start now. We have this all wired in eventually. Finally, there's the controller, and let me show you. Look at that. It runs. Let me actually put it into view for you. Look, we've got a beautiful range of speed. Look at that, nice and slow, really slow. And that's about as slow as I can get it, yeah. It does seem to be that the 557 chip is perfectly happy to work with the Batman Easy command and control and not the Hornby Select. This is NMRA standard, this isn't. The Hornby Elite is, but apparently they paid a lot of money for that one. They spent a lot of money getting it reprogrammed and updated so that it was NMRA compatible. But with the Hornby Select being a basic entry-level controller and working with Hornby's own chips, they never bothered. Oh god, there's a siren again as well. What is it with the rain? Is everybody crashing and dying today? Right, so what we need to do now then is to swap the... well, no, I tell you what, I'm not going to swap the chip over just yet. I am going to wire in the Hornby E-Link system, and I'm going to get that fitted because people have been telling me that that is NMRA standard, so that should control it. Let's find out. Okay, we're back. Sorry for the interruption. The rain absolutely just started pelting it down, and I couldn't even hear myself think. I bet you can't see the screen, can you? If I just, come on, if I just make it as bright as I can. We want the Railmaster software. Do I have to, yes, of course, it's fine. Now, I can't remember whether I'm supposed to run, am I supposed to run the software? Oh, a free update is available for this program which contains the following. Right, okay, fine. Please wait, downloading update. Okay, so that's just running an update for us. I don't know when I'm supposed to actually switch the system on. I can't remember if you switch the system on and then you power that up, or you do it the other way around. I can't remember. But it's performing an update, and the rain is getting heavier again. God, what is it, monsoon season or something? This is ridiculous. So we'll let it perform its update. I'll go make a cup of tea, and we'll continue in a second. Okay, we're back again for part 28 billion or whatever it is. I mean, gosh, it's been such a hard day to film today. Oh, I need to log on. Hang on, sorry. Sorry, folks. Okay, we'll log... No, AVG, I'll do that at another date. Thank you. Bye-bye. Leave me alone. Right. Okay, the Railmaster software has updated, and our Bachmann Class 40 with the original chip is still waiting to see if it's controllable by Hornby's E-Link system. So, let's fire up the E-Link system then. I should hear something. There we go. I mean, as I say, I can't remember whether you're supposed to run the software and then switch it on, or switch it on and then run the software, but it shouldn't really make much difference. Hornby Railmaster. Okay, let's just pick a direction then and see if we can get it moving. Nope, maybe it's because it's not plugged in properly. No, it definitely is. The USB is connected, the wires are all connected, everything's definitely plugged in. This should work. Well, hey everybody, and welcome back. It's the next day, it's a different day, and well, what a difference a day can make. As you can see, my laptop has changed. It's not my laptop, it's actually one of Craig's old laptops. The crucial thing about this laptop is it runs Windows 7. Yesterday evening, both me and Craig battled for what must have been nearly 4 hours to try and get the Railmaster software to work with Windows 8, and it just wasn't having any of it. It was absolutely crucial to my video for me to test the E-Link software and the E-Link device with the particular decoder in the locomotive over there that was giving us so much trouble. We did conclude that yes, the Hornby Select is not NMRA compatible, meaning that is the problem, and every other controller in the world, well, nearly every other controller in the world is fine. It's just this one that isn't. But I still had to, for purposes of the video and for purposes of testing, carry on and test all of my other equipment and the other chips. But I hit a brick wall in the software would not run on Windows 8. Basically, it had been so long since I had loaded Railmaster on Windows 8 that it wanted to perform an update. So it performed an update, and then after the update it would no longer work with the current version of the firmware that was running on the E-Link system. So it wanted the firmware to be updated as well. But because Windows 8 is so flipping locked down and, well, for lack of a better word, ruined and screwed up by Microsoft, it just wouldn't work. The driver signing thing, the digital signing, meant Windows 8 refused to talk to it. Just wouldn't talk to it at all. Wouldn't do the device handshake and get working. Me and Craig are both IT consultants. We're both professionals. We work with computers day in, day out. There's virtually nothing we can't do when it comes to computers. But yesterday, after 4 hours, we still couldn't get it to work. That is a big problem. Windows 8 is on practically every new computer you buy now, and even though another update is about to come out, and hopefully they're going to drop Windows 8 completely and come out with something much better soon, there's a lot of people out there running Windows 8. My advice to you is don't. If you want to run the Railmaster software, if you can, run it on Windows 7. You will thank me. Windows 7 is fantastic. It's a really good operating system. It's really reliable, it's really secure, and it's really easy to use, and it doesn't have the same driver issues that Windows 8 does. I use Windows 8 on my Ultrabook all the time for just replying to emails, checking Facebook, doing research, and it's great for all of that stuff. But I do not run games on it, and I definitely can't do things like this on it anymore because it's just not up to the job. So basically, I have the software running on Windows 7, and watch what happens. Look at that. Look at it. It's going. It's working. And if I click all stop, it stops. It seriously took, I think it was about 4 minutes to set up on Windows 7. And after 4 hours, it wouldn't work on Windows 8. That's how much of an issue it is. Now, I'm not giving up completely. I think I will work hard behind the scenes when I've got time to get it working on Windows 8 because it would be useful for future videos. I really don't want to have to buy another computer just for doing this. However, this whole E-Link system, the whole E-Link NMRA, as we've just proven, compatible system, is going to be moved up to the office. It's going to be powering the N Gague layout. We thought that it would be a really cool idea for the N Gague trains to be chipped and to be controlled by computers. So that's what I'll be using it for. I won't be using it for this layout. I'm certainly not using it for the proper layout, and I'm definitely not going to use it for an exhibition layout. But it does raise the whole issue of DCC controllers, doesn't it? And until yesterday, I had no idea that the Hornby DCC Select is not NMRA compliant. And I ended up talking to Richard at Trident Trains for a long time about it. So thank you to him for letting me chew his ear off. But lots of people did tweet, and I really do appreciate that. You did tweet all about it, and you seemed to be in the know. Now I'm making it knowledge for everybody, hopefully. The channel's just gone over 20,000 subscribers, which is just phenomenal. So hopefully this news will get out to the whole world. And listen to the rain again. Right, I shall wait till the rain eases off and I will join you again shortly. Okay, we're back. Sorry, it seems like the weather today is just like it was yesterday. 1 minute it's absolutely chucking it down, the next it's really sunny. That's really annoying. But there's nothing I can do about it. Not even the great IC82 can control the weather. Yet. Anyway, yeah, I was talking about controllers. It definitely raises the issue of controllers. It seems a lot of you out there have significantly better controllers than I do, and I accept that. The DCC Select, as I say, it just came with my Virgin Pendolino set, and it basically plunged me into the world of digital control. It's not going to be used on the proper layout. Accessory control on the proper layout is being done by something totally unique. Only a few of my friends know about that, and I can't reveal the rest of it because it's a top secret. But train control, locomotive control, is going to be done by, I think, the Gauge Master. As I've said previously, there's a great little unit by Gauge Master which I really love, and it's a handheld unit. It now has a backlit display, and it has a really nice knob down at the bottom and plenty of buttons and stuff, and I absolutely love that controller. But to buy that handset and then all the gubbins that connects into your track and stuff is about £300 or £400. It's not cheap. The reason I haven't bought it yet is because, well, if I did, to be quite honest, I wouldn't get very much use out of it. It just seems like a waste of money. By the time I would be able to use it properly, it would probably be out of date, which got us talking about other controllers, and apparently the best in the world is by a company called Zimo. There's probably people out there now who have just heard me say that and they've gone, yeah, I've got one, it's Ace. Well, it is Ace, and I should think it is Ace for £800. It's about £800 apparently. And it's basically just a series of equipment and systems that you connect into your layout, and then you control it all via your iPad or your Google Nexus or whatever, because it's all Wi-Fi controlled, which is fantastic. But at the same time, I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I'm quite old-fashioned, and I don't like tapping buttons to control my trains. I don't think that's very realistic. I like actual physical controls. I like feeling the resistance in a resistor, even if there isn't one, even if it's fake, like the volume controls on modern cars and stuff. That I still like that interaction, that direct interaction. I don't like just tapping buttons. I don't like it. If I was doing an exhibition layout, if I was building like a beautiful GWR terminus station that was purely for exhibition layout, I would use electrofrog points, I would use code 75 pico streamline track, and I would use something like the Zimo or the Fleischmann Z21 or the Gauge Master. I would make it really, really professional. The Lens 100 is the control unit Richard uses in his shop, and it is brilliant. The things that unit can do are just mind-blowing, but it looks like a Casio calculator. It does, and it operates like a Casio calculator. You're even tapping rubberized keys like they are for ZX Spectrum. I just don't like it. No matter how good it is behind the scenes and how updatable it is and upgradable and how ace the software is, I just don't like it. Sure, it can change the CV values of every single locomotive you've got and make it do anything, but I don't like the interface. The bit where the technology meets the human being, I don't like it. And that's what all of this DCC stuff is about. You know, whether it's Hornby DCC controllers or Bachmann Easy commands or E-Link systems or £800 Zimo systems, it's a very, very personal choice. You've got to buy what's good for you and what works for you. None of my layouts are exhibition layouts. This conservatory one is just for the people of YouTube. The one I'm building upstairs, which you will see, is basically just a personal dream. The N Gauge is about as close as we get because I am going to make that all computer controlled. I've got plans for other layouts too, other projects in the future, and some of those might have fancy control systems. But personally, the controller I want to use has got to have a nice interface. It's got to have a nice series of buttons and a rotary controller and, you know, a knob, and it's got to have a nice LCD backlit display or whatever. People keep talking to me about the Dynamis, but the problem with the Dynamis is I've heard it's a bit buggy, and because it relies on infrared, something like today where the sun's gone really strong now, it can interfere with the infrared signals and basically ruin it. And you don't want to be driving, you know, you don't want a Class 55 Deltic hurtling down the railway, hurtling down your track at a scale speed of 90 miles an hour, and then you lose control because the sun has ruined your, you know, it's scattered your infrared signals, and suddenly you can't stop it and it goes smack into something else. That's no good. So the Dynamis is no good for me. If it's good for you, then that's fine, but I'm going to steer clear of it. Today, the most important thing we have to talk about is whether these controllers are NMRA compliant. And I've created just a nice little chart here for us to look at. If I just pan the camera down, controller, Hornby Select, is it NMRA compliant? No, it's not. I really am angry with Hornby for not telling us, but at the same time I understand why. Basically, Hornby tried to go it their own with this when the DCC revolution was taking off again for the second time, because it technically happened in the 70s and 80s but didn't really take off. When it happened again, they tried to do it all themselves, but then they apparently changed their mind. They did a U-turn, they went back on themselves, but it was too late for the DCC Select. It wasn't worth it. The Hornby Elite is compliant. That's fine. And a very good friend of mine, the AY76 channel, he uses an Elite, I know that, and he loves it, and it's very, very good. You get 2 controllers on that one. The build quality is better, you can connect it to a computer. It's a pretty good controller, not bad at all. The Hornby E-Link, yes, that's compliant as well. That's fine, I've just proven that. Thankfully, Hornby are now putting the E-Link system in lots of their new sets, and that's a good move because their Select is just too basic. It's not up to the job, and it only working with Hornby chips isn't good enough these days. The Bachmann Easy Command. So this is Bachmann's budget digital controller, DCC controller, and if you buy this in any particular set, it's not a bad controller. Not bad at all. More than up to the job. Yeah, it's really simplified and basic, but it's NMRA compliant. It will work with all the chips that we know of. The Batman Dynamis, the one I've just mentioned, it's infrared, it's portable, it is NMRA compliant, but I personally don't like it. I'm not going to use it myself. The Lens 100, fantastic company, fantastic system, very pricey, but is it compliant? Yes, it is. The Fleischmann Z21, those Europeans, the continental type, the true Europeans, the Germans, the French, the Spanish, the Italians, they do some fantastic model railway stuff. They're way ahead of the UK when it comes to things like this. They really are. And their stuff is brilliant. The Fleischmann Z21 is a really, really good controller. And easy to update the firmware, easy to update the software, very, very customizable. A fantastic controller. I'd love to show you a photo of it, but I can't for copyright reasons. So please do go to Google, look it up. It's a really good controller. Is it compliant? Yes, it is. The Zimo. This is the bee's knees. This is basically the best you can get, as far as I know. But for £800 or however much it costs, it should be good. £800. I know a lot of people. I know a significant portion of people in the world of model railways can't afford £80. Never mind 800, which is really annoying because it turns it into an elite system. With that, the ironic thing being that the Hornby one's called elite. But it makes this elite, and there's only going to be a very, very few, 0.2% of the people in the world of model railways can afford something like that. Things are tight at the moment. People are losing jobs. People are finding jobs. Things are getting better. But certainly in other countries around the world, things are still quite tight. People have to watch their money. And very, very few of us can afford to spend £800 on just a controller. We'd love to spend that kind of money on food and drinks and cars and holidays and electricity bills and everything else. Never mind blowing it all on just a control system. It's very, very elite. Is it NMRA compliant? Of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, I should expect it to make me a cup of tea and write out my will for that kind of money. Now there's one that's a bit of an oddball here, and I've had to call it that swanky one because I don't exactly know what the code of it is. I hope that you can help me out in the comments below. I think it's a ZSC or something, I'm not too sure. I think it's a ZSC HT3 or I'm not sure. All I know is that it actually has physical controls. It actually has like a metal resistor that you slide up and down. It looks like it's been ripped out of an actual locomotive. It's that realistic. But is it NMRA compliant? And the answer is no. You pay all that money for a really, really fancy, very realistic digital control system, but it's not NMRA compliant. Which means, again, that if you try and use, the Bachmann 557 decoder, you could have problems. You could have problems. So there we have a little chart of just what controllers are compliant and what controllers aren't. Now, as I say, the one I haven't written down there is the Gauge Master. The Gauge Master is NMRA compliant, and it's the one I'm going to be buying. I'm pretty certain of that. Am I going to be buying it yet? No. You'll probably see me buying that when we're well into videos on the new layout. So you'll have seen me put baseboards together, build frames, put wiring in. You'll have seen me do all that, and then I'll do a video on the Gauge Master controller. I'm just hoping that by then it'll be even better. I'm really hoping that by then they'll have made even more upgrades to it and maybe made it Wi-Fi compatible or USB 3 compatible or whatever. I'm just hoping that by then they will have done something like that. At the moment, they haven't. So we'll see. We'll see. But the Hornby Selects, I think, are going to have to be relegated to workshop use and nothing more. And I might even struggle then. The Bachmann Easy command is probably going to have to be the controller I use from now on with this test layout and for testing the new layout. Maybe even for testing the N Gague layout. It seems to be a very reliable controller to use because it is NMRA compliant. As for the E-Link system, I will fight and try to get that working with Windows 8. I will, but if you see me in the news because I've murdered somebody, it's probably because I'm having trouble. It's going to have its new life in the world of N Gague, and I'll do a video on that in the future, so keep your eyes peeled for that. The only other thing I wanted to very, very quickly talk to you about is chips. Loads and loads of people told me the other day that they were having trouble with Bachmann chips. So would you like to see me do a video on chips? Because I think it's important. I think I should do a video on DCC decoders. How about we do a video where we buy the Hatton's budget chip, because Hatton's, Hatton's of Liverpool, they've just brought out their own chip for about £8 or something. It's very, very budget. So how about we do like a Hatton's chip, and how about we do the Hornby standard one, which is now about 12, and then they do the Sapphire, don't they? I think that's about 18. We probably need to do that one too. There's chips by Lens, of course. They're about £20 or more. And then of course there's Bachmann chips. They do various decoders, don't they? They range from about 14 up to about 26. I think a video, like a part 2 to this video, on just decoders would be really, really useful. I'm sure other channels have already done this kind of thing, and I'm sure other people are probably going to do it right now. But I can't ignore the fact that this channel reaches over 20,000 people, which is really, really important. So if I did a video on chips, and we tested them all, and we ran them in different locomotives, and we ran them with different controllers, the results would be really, really useful, wouldn't they? And I could even publish those results permanently on the IC82 website in print, quotes, in print for everybody to see forever. And all we have to do is, if you can work with me, and we keep it updated. So I know there's people out there like Scott and Chris and Gareth, and if you could keep me up to date with this kind of thing. So if you buy a particular chip and you experience a problem with it, let me know. Share it on forums, share it on my channel. And we'll work together, won't we? And we'll keep that page updated, and we'll keep this common knowledge of what works with what and what doesn't. We'll keep on top of it, and we'll all help each other out, because that's what it's about. These companies like Hornby and Bachmann and Lens and stuff, they don't seem to really care. Well, not as much as they should. But we're the community here. We're the ones keeping those companies alive. We're the ones spending the money. So how about we work together and we keep each other updated? Are you with me? I hope so. I'm not going to talk anymore. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate all the support and feedback you've given me. I hope you've enjoyed the videos on the lighting strips and the putting the passengers into the seats and stuff. There's loads more to come. There's quite a few more reviews now. We've got a Class 92, we've got a Class 90, we've got a Class 60 in coal sector. There's a regional railways train. I've got to do the reviews on the N Gague locomotives. There's the next N Gague part, which is it all being wired up. We've got a video coming up on comparing Bachmann locomotives with Hornby locomotives. There's a train set or two to do. There's Know Your Gauges, and of course there's How to Make a Model Railway Part 2, which is picking a room, deciding on a layout, deciding on a design, and then ordering wood and timber and so I've got lots to get on with. I really have. I'm going to be working for days and days to get all that done. So I'll go off and get all that done. Please leave a comment. Please make a video yourself. Make a video yourself. If you've got a tale to tell, if you want to share something, do it. Let me know. I'll retweet it, I'll like it, I'll favourite it, I'll give it exposure. We've got to work together on this, haven't we, people? Let's get this done, and together we can do it. It's amazing. Thank you for watching. As ever, I love you to bits, and see you soon.